I'm sorry, it did weird things to me. In the hands of the Empire. While this side is up, my force drains are +1. Right? Oh, my opponent's force drains are -1, I'm sorry. At relative locations, each rebel is deployed +2. At all locations, add X to my total battle destiny, where X is the number of relative locations I occupy with Imperials. Once during each of my control phases, the beginning of my turn, I may use 2 force to take any one card into hand from reserve deck. I flip this if my opponent controls 2 Raltier locations, and lose it if Raltier is blown away, which only happens with the Death Star, which I don't have in this deck, so it'll be fine. Now, actually I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards from my deck, or from my force pile at the end of my turn. You are allowed to do that at the end of your turn. I recirculate, and I say, may the force be with you, to the light side. So my dark side stuff will go over there. Now, obviously, when you're playing a real game, you'll have 2 people sitting on opposite sides of the table, so this won't happen. Now, at the beginning of my turn, I again activate Force, and you may notice that Yoda is a Jedi Master and has a lightsaber logo on his card, so he activates 1 Force for himself. So, 1 for Yoda, 2 for Yoda's hut, 1 for the Dagobah training area, 1 for the Dagobah swamp, 2 for the Dagobah system, 1 for the prefect's office, 1 for the swamp, 1 for the forest on Raltier, and 1 for the light side itself. And the first thing I'm going to do on my turn is use the... Actually, I'm going to use the Dagobah training area to search for my next Jedi test, a Jedi Strength. It deploys on an unoccupied Dagobah site and matters when I target someone who has completed a Jedi test. I'm going to use my next thing to search my deck for Luke and get ready to deploy him. And actually, no, first I'm going to get another Dagobah location with the Dagobah system. This is the Bog Clearing, and it affects, cannot get your ship out. Okay, so I'm lining them up a bit more. Cannot get your ship out works for the dark side. Now I have found a copy of Luke, but I'm going to shuffle my deck before I play him. This copy of Luke is called Son of Skywalker, and he works especially well for Jedi testing, which is why I chose him for this deck. Now, he also has a deploy cost of 5, like Yoda does, and he also deploys -2, so 1, 2, 3. I am going to deploy him to the same location as Yoda. His ability, he adds 2 to the power of anything he pilots. That's what the pilot logo says on a character. He also is a warrior. He can use weapons. Once per game during my deploy phase, a lightsaber may deploy on Luke for free from my reserve deck, and then I reshuffle. And I am going to look at the cards in my hand. I have that Great Warrior still, which says deploy on a Dagobah site, target a mentor here, also target or deploy, regardless of location deployment restrictions, and apprentice here. Attempt when targets are present at the beginning of my control phase. Draw a destiny, and that'll kick off during my next control phase. I'll show you how Luke becomes more of a Jedi. I'm also, during my deploy phase, going to deploy Luke's backpack on Luke, or Son of Skywalker, and he is going to carry Yoda, which will allow him to be just a little bit better on that Jedi test. Now, I am also going to draw a couple cards from my force pile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should do it. I am going to recirculate and say, may the force be with you to the dark side.